holidays. Well,
Good morning, everyone. Tech Sergeant T here. Usual time. Well, I don't know what it is lately. For years, I've not had to use an alarm clock. I wake up naturally, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, the latest. Boy, the last couple of weeks, I've had to have an alarm going to get me up. It's interesting, the alarm they have on these cell phones. It's not real loud, but boy, it seems to be very effective. Wakes you right up. I wonder how much research they did on exactly the sound that was going to work the best, if any, because there are different ones. But this is the default one. Uh, that I have it though, I probably wouldn't have made it up. It's always been irritating to my wife that I fall asleep uh, without any problems whatsoever. She stays up all night sometimes. My head hits the pillow and I'm gone. Matter of fact, I had uh, can't remember the name of it. One of those little watches that tracks your heart rate and stuff like that, and your sleep patterns. Um, I was usually asleep within 2 to 3 minutes, and was asleep all night, except for the time that I had to get up. Old Tuffy, she likes to go out about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, just for a short one. Of course, I've been trying to be more accommodating since she's, gone through the trauma of having all those teeth taken out. But there's a story I always liked about a guy that was going to take his very first ride along on a jet fighter. And in preparing for the flight, he asked the pilot, he says, in case of an emergency, who ejects first? And the pilot said, well, traditionally, the passenger ejects first. But if we have an emergency and I say eject, you say what? You'll be talking to yourself. She said, that's how it is when I fall asleep at night. Ask me a question, I'll answer it, and they'll answer back, and then ask another question, and I'm already asleep. She just lays there and fumes while I'm snoring away. But I guess, I got to accept getting a little older, and maybe just not as much desire to get up in the morning. Just trying to think last night uh, about the cars that I've had over the years. We used to have two cars. Well, we both worked, so we had two cars. Trying to think about that, and wow, what kind of cars we had. I know when we were in the military, of course, we never had two cars. We didn't need them. And of course, a lot of the countries we lived in, especially in Europe, had excellent public transportation. It's fun in Berlin. They used to run those big double-decker buses, and in the mornings and in the evenings, they ran two buses right together. So they doubled up on their routes, and they ran them about every 15 minutes. That was always fun. The kids always like to sit in the top. We got pretty good here in Salt Lake, public transportation. We have light rail train plus the bus routes, but it's got a ways to go, especially out, all the major population for years was on the east side of the valley, so that's where all the infrastructure is. We have great north-south routes, but some of our east-west routes aren't that good. You know, it's working out at Hercules. There was a program. It was a kind of a trust but verify program. We actually had Russian observers make sure that we weren't manufacturing a particular type of missile out there as a short-range missile, medium range. And then we had people over there in the Soviet Union, Russia, doing the same thing. There was two things that always impressed the observers that were there. One of them was the variety of automobiles, the number of brands, the number of all the colors that we had, trucks, vans, little cars, big cars, and almost everybody had one. To get a car in Russia, first of all, I think they only had like two models. They were both black. It's like Henry Ford used to say, you can have any color you want on a Model T as long as it's black. So, but that was the most impressive thing to them. And the other thing was our supermarkets. I made a couple of trips to East Berlin when I was in Germany. They had allocations in the restaurants and in the grocery stores for food and other, products. When they were out, they were out. You go to a restaurant and look at the menu and ask for a particular dish, and oh, we're out of that. So you have to move on. It's like there's a Russian immigrant named Yakov Smirnov. He's a comedian. He came to the United States and said, he says, we have all you can eat restaurants in Russia. They give you a bowl of borscht and say, that's all you can eat. So, that's about how it was. You go into these big department stores and the shelves would be, they'd do a couple of things. They'd be out of a lot of stuff, so they would take what they did have and put it in several different places throughout the store so that it looked like the store was full. And there was 17 Unistrasse. That's where the Brandenburg Gate is located. And if you stand on the observation platforms on the West Berlin side of the wall, look down the street and you see all these big apartment buildings and department stores and all this nice wide, beautiful street. And a block back from that, it would look like still what was left over from World War II. Still bombed out buildings and vegetation had taken over a lot of the buildings. So it's all show. There's no substance. I talked to a few people over there, realized that we're not all that different. Governments might differ. Government goals certainly do differ. We know that now in light of what's been going on. But all people want is an opportunity to, have a job, maybe be able to take a little bit of a vacation once in a while, have their family, and just live peaceably without a lot of interruption, a lot of distraction. The only difference, I guess, a lot of times is ideology. But it was eye-opening, that's for sure. I had that opportunity, I think, a couple of times. I mean, going to Pakistan, oh my gosh, especially from the United States, especially from Utah, we were very, always have been kind of behind the rest of the country, well, the West, us in Wyoming, Idaho. We kind of lag a little bit, of course, behind the East Coast. It's very cosmopolitan. But you go to a country like Pakistan, and lose half their kids before their age of 2, lose a lot of women in childbirth, start having kids as soon as they can, wear those stupid burqas all the time. And the burqas, I guess they had a lot of problems with vitamin D deficiency because of the lack of sun. Might have been a rumor, but that's what I was told. And there was always intertribal wars. It's like some of the inner cities here in the United States. Young people die because of here it's gang fights. There it was tribal wars. It's been going on forever. But anyway, talking about cars, as I thought about it, we've had, oh my gosh, for a long time, we've bought new cars every couple of 3 years. People say, well, that's, big car payments. Yeah, if do it right, buy the car and trade it within 3 years, get a good trade in. I've never had to pay for a car repair. We're usually still covered by the warranty. So I don't know how much of a trade-off it is. Cars now, oh my gosh. To get 100,000 miles out of a car was a big deal. I was driving all those old Chevys, Fords. Now, the company I had, we drove Dodge Caravans. We put 200,000 miles on those things. I get, the little car I have now, this little Buick, it's got a small, I think it's a 1.2 liter beast, or no, it's just a little 4-banger. But I'll tell you what, it's got a lot of acceleration. It keeps up the rest of the traffic. Turbocharged. Makes a big difference. I've had the engine seems to be notorious for losing the turbocharger at about 60 to 70,000 miles an hour, or miles an hour. Boy, don't we wish, about 60 to 70,000 miles that the turbos kind of go out. And you can still drive the car, but you certainly don't have the acceleration you need to keep up in traffic. But it's been a very reliable little car. Actually, my second one. I like the other one so much. Only mistake I made was the interior. I got this very, very light interior. Didn't realize how much of an effort it would be to keep it clean. Constantly cleaning it. I do a little bit of lift on the side and try to keep it clean for the passengers. If I didn't have that, it'd probably keep a lot cleaner in the back seat. People try to be nice, and I have really good experience with it. Most of the people I take are really good. But every once in a while, I find somebody spilled their chocolate or some other thing back there. And some people let you know, and some people don't. And if they do, then I have the chance to clean it up. Otherwise, I find it. I check the back seat on occasion. Somebody got gum. That was the worst. Somebody put gum on their back. Must have been on their backside or something because they stuck it to the seat. And they have all of these methods, to get the gum off of upholstery. I didn't find any of them that worked that well, but I got it cleaned down. But I've met some interesting people doing Lyft. They've had interesting careers and experiences. Some people, especially nowadays, they get in the back seat, and they pull out their phones, put on their headsets or in their earbuds, and you don't hear anything out of them. Other people, you have some really nice conversations with. So, it's like I'm almost to work here. And I forgot to post my video I made last night, so I'll get it up today and get this one up later too. I really want to try and commit to this, make sure that I put out the content that I committed to. See if I can get this thing. Oop, a little bump there. Get this going so I can start doing the live stream. You guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.